Okay, let's dive in. For this deep dive, we're exploring some really personal military experiences, specifically looking at stories from the Vietnam era and, well, a bit beyond, too.
That's right. And the source material, it's pretty unique. It's mainly from a listener who shared a collection of anecdotes on Reddit, stories told by their uncle.
Yeah, this uncle, he was a weapons expert working on bombers over in Vietnam. And then we also have comments from other people reacting, sharing their own family stuff.
Exactly. So our mission really is to unpack these accounts. They're so vivid and personal. We want to dig into the surprising details, the challenges they reveal.
And see what these individual stories, these moments, add to the bigger picture of military service back then, and maybe even now.
It's about getting past the official histories and into what it felt like on the ground, finding the universal in these really specific experiences.
Absolutely. Moving past headlines, like you said, into the lived reality. And honestly, one of the first things that just jumps out is the danger, the constant, almost background level of extreme danger.
Right. The source mentions the airfield where the uncle worked. It wasn't just near danger, it was literally surrounded by minefields.
Yeah, just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
That's your workplace. Not just, near a hazard, but contained by it.
It definitely sets a baseline for the psychological stress, doesn't it? A very unique baseline.
Totally. And this leads right into one of the, well, frankly, kind of unbelievable stories.
Yeah.
The uncle's running late one morning, needs to get to his transport like 2 miles away.
Okay.
Sees a shortcut straight across this field instead of taking the long road around. So he just does it, runs across, hops a barbed wire fence on the other side.
Just trying to save time, right? A simple calculation.
Exactly. But he didn't know he was running through.
Ah.
So he gets to the other side. There's a Marine directing traffic.
Yeah.
It's loud, so he taps the Marine's leg. The guy jumps back, totally shocked, starts yelling, "Where the hell did you come from? I was watching these roads all day and didn't see you."
Wow. So the Marine's reaction wasn't just surprise, it was like confusion. How did this guy just appear?
Precisely. Because he wasn't expecting anyone from that direction. The uncle just points back, says, across the field, hop the wire.
And that's when he sees it.
That's when he turns around and sees the sign. Minefield, stay clear. But here's the kicker. It was only on the side he came out of, not the side he went in.
Oh man, that detail, the one-sided sign, what does that even suggest? Priorities or just how danger gets marked, maybe differently depending on where you're looking from.
Yeah, it's wild. It shows how even supposedly marked danger zones could be, well, invisible depending on your approach. And there's this other little detail in the source. Apparently, whenever the uncle tells this story to other vets, the second he says barbed wire, they immediately cut in like, oh man, a minefield.
Whoa. That shared understanding, that shorthand, it tells you barbed wire wasn't just wire in that context, it was code.
Yeah, a signal for a specific deadly kind of place. It speaks volumes about the grim knowledge they all carried, about the environments they were in.
Like an instant keyword. And this proximity to minefields, it wasn't just a theoretical risk, was it? There's another story.
No, not at all. There's this really tragic story about an emergency landing. A bomber coming in, engine fire. Too fast, too hard.
Okay, already a dangerous situation. The source says the landing gear actually broke when it hit, and the plane started skidding.
Yeah, it skidded right across the runway. But here's the awful part, the sheer randomness.
Yeah.
It didn't just stay on the runway.
Oh no, don't tell me.
It skidded off the runway.
Right into the minefield.
Right into it, and it hit a mine.
Oh God, so the crash, which was already bad.
Became instantly fatal for almost everyone on board, just gone. The source says only one crew member survived. He'd bailed out earlier, broke a bunch of bones, but he lived.
Wow, so the minefield wasn't just like a backdrop. It actively turned a survivable crash, potentially, into complete catastrophe for most of them.
Exactly. It just amplified the danger exponentially. The environment itself was lethal.
It really shows how the place itself shapes outcomes, in ways you just can't predict.
It really does. Okay, so shifting gears a bit. From that kind of environmental danger to a different sort of high-stakes moment. Expertise under insane pressure.
Right. This is the story about the bomber that came back with a
Loose
bomb.
Yeah. A loose armed bomb just rolling around inside the bomb bay.
Can you even imagine an armed bomb, unstable, in a plane? I mean, the source says it shut down the whole airfield, right? No other planes could land.
Total crisis. And understandably, nobody wanted to get near that plane.
Sure.
And the uncle, he just happens to arrive back at the airfield and has no idea what's going on.
Walks right into it.
Basically. They brief him quick. He asks who's in charge of handling this. And they tell him, you are.
Just like that. Why him?
Because apparently he was the only one on the entire airfield that day who was actually trained on that specific type of bomb.
Wow. Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
The safety of the whole airfield, suddenly, boom, it's on him.
Right. Step into that crisis.
Yeah.
And he has to figure out how to secure this live, unstable thing with everyone watching, clock ticking. The source even says he's thinking about the manual, the procedures.
But someone tells him to forget the book.
Yeah, the person in charge basically says, I don't give a damn about the manual. What do you think we should do?
That's fascinating. That moment where practical knowledge, expert judgment just overrides the written rules because the situation is so extreme, so off script.
Exactly. It becomes about immediate problem solving, using what you deeply know.
So what was his solution? The one that wasn't in the manual?
His idea, based on his training, was to reattach the tether to the bomb. That specific action would unarm it, put it back on safe, even though, yeah, the source explicitly says this went against the manual for that exact scenario.
Okay, so that took some serious nerve and skill.
Oh, absolutely. He had to walk up to the plane, see this armed bomb just dangling there, then calmly grab it, untangle the tether, and clip it back on.
Just the focus required. Wow.
It's such a powerful example, isn't it? How one person's specific knowledge, applied calmly under that kind of stress, can literally prevent a disaster.
Yeah, it moves beyond just general bravery to, like, the critical importance of specialized skill.
These Vietnam moments are incredibly intense. But his stories, the ones the listeners shared, they didn't stop there. The source mentions other things too, like base shelling.
Right. Just another day at the office, almost. But terrifyingly random. The source says 2 shells landed, like, right near him while he was just sitting in the barracks.
Feet away. 2 near misses that just perfectly capture how unpredictable survival could be. The first one, a dud, hit the barracks directly but didn't go off.
Okay, lucky break number 1.
Lucky break number 2. The second shell lands just 2 feet away from him.
2 feet.
Yeah, but it hit soft mud and just sank in. Didn't explode, just splattered dirt everywhere.
How do you even process that? Feet? Inches, maybe, between being fine, maybe muddy, and not being fine at all.
It really hammers home the role of pure chance. Just luck of the draw in that kind of chaos.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it?
Right.
Sometimes survival isn't about skill or planning. It's just about where you happen to be standing or sitting when things go sideways.
Exactly. Okay, now moving to a totally different context. This one's back in the U.S., transporting a nuclear warhead.
Yeah, that sounds intense.
Across the Northeast and Rinter.
Oh, great. Add ice to the mix.
You guessed it. The source describes this moment. They're going down a steep hill, heading into a base entrance, and they hit a patch of ice.
On the trailer.
The trail, yeah, one with the nuke, starts sliding. Trying to jackknife, basically. Trying to pass the truck.
Okay, that's a nightmare scenario. Like a classified national security nightmare scenario.
Absolutely. And the uncle's reaction, driving the truck, it was immediate but maybe counterintuitive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He hit the gas, tried to pull the trailer straight.
Right, try to power through it. Did it work?
Well, they picked up speed, a lot of speed, almost hit their lead Humvee. He ended up blasting through the base entrance at like 70 miles per hour, with the trailer still trying to slide.
70 miles per hour into a base with a nuke.
Yeah. And get this. The soldier who was sleeping in the passenger seat wakes up, sees what's happening, and his first instinct is to point his rifle at the uncle.
Whoa! What happened then?
The uncle just yells, instant reaction, shoot, and we're all kicking dead.
Chilling.
Yeah. The soldier apparently saw the trailer sliding, put 2 and 2 together real fast, and lowered the rifle. That whole exchange just captures the absolute terror, the stakes.
And the split-second understanding of, yeah, mutually assured destruction right there in the cab. So what happened when they finally somehow stopped inside the base?
Oh, the base commander was waiting, furious, pistol out, yelling, what the hell is that? Are you trying to get us all killed? You know, understandable reaction.
Sure.
But the uncle, probably still shaking, just calmly turns it right back on him, asks, no, sir. Tell me, which of your men was supposed to put the salt down on that hill?
Oh, nice. Using the context, pointing out the actual failure that caused the whole thing.
Exactly. And the commander apparently realized his base's screw-up created the danger. Backed down, went off, probably yelled at someone else, and then came back later and apologized to the uncle.
Wow. A near catastrophe averted by quick driving, quick thinking under fire, and then calling out the root cause. That's quite a story. Layered.
Definitely layered. Okay, one more incident from the source.
Mm-hmm.
This one's mysterious.
Ooh, okay.
The uncle's on an airfield again, back in the U.S. this time. Late one night, steps out for a smoke.
Right.
Notices the runway lights are off, which is weird. Walks closer to see what's up, and sees this large, dark object landing silently.
Landing with no lights on an unlit runway.
And then, this is the strange part he described, the object seemed to sort of change, like it turned into a bunker with no lights on, and then he saw doors close.
Turn into a bunker. What does that even mean?
Hard to say, right? But his immediate thought, according to the source, was basically, uh-oh, I don't think I was supposed to see that. So he just kept it to himself, didn't mention it.
Smart move, probably. Did he ever figure out what it might have been?
Well, here's the interesting connection he made later. About a month after he saw this thing, the SR-71 Blackbird was publicly revealed.
Ah, the spy plane.
Exactly. And he became convinced that's what he saw that night, landing secretly.
That gives you a little glimpse, doesn't it, into that world of secret projects, black aircraft,
Right.
stuff happening right under people's noses,
Yeah.
intersecting with just, a guy taking a smoke break.
Right, just happened to be in the right place at the wrong time, or maybe the right place at the right time, to see a piece of classified history before anyone else knew.
These stories, taken together, from the minefields, the loose bomb, the shelling, the nuke transport, this possible SR-71, they paint such a detailed personal picture.
They really do. And it's important, like we said, that the source wasn't just the uncle's stories. The comment section on that Reddit post added more layers.
Yeah, definitely. We saw people chiming in, mentioning their own family members who served in Vietnam. Different roles, combat engineer, machine gunner, navigator. Just brief mentions, but they reinforce that huge range of experiences over there.
And some people were excited about the SR-71 mention, too. Shows how that stuff still resonates.
Right, but also critically, the comments. They went into some much tougher territory, some really difficult, painful aspects tied to the Vietnam War experience, things veterans often find incredibly hard to talk about.
Yeah, this was a significant part of the source material, even though it was in the comments. And we need to relay that this discussion happened carefully. One commenter shared a perspective suggesting potential reasons why some veterans might have done horrific things sometimes associated with the war.
Like what kind of reasons?
They mentioned possibilities like widespread drug use or maybe a loss of morals, just ground down by the brutality of the environment, the long tours, that kind of thing.
Okay, that's one perspective shared in the comments. Was there a counterpoint?
Yes, absolutely. It's crucial to note another commenter pushed back on that. They disputed the idea of widespread drug use, especially in combat roles, arguing it wouldn't make sense tactically.
Okay.
This person suggested maybe drug use and boredom were more common in rear areas, not so much in the bush. They also specifically called claims of widespread rape an urban legend, and really stressed how incredibly varied the experiences of Vietnam vets were. Not one single narrative fits all.
Right, so very different viewpoints being expressed there in the comments section.
Exactly. And just to be crystal clear for everyone listening, these are perspectives and discussions that happened within the source material's comments. We're reporting that this conversation occurred. We are not endorsing or validating any specific viewpoint here.
That's a really important distinction. And the comments also touched on something broader, didn't they? About why stories like the uncle's sometimes don't get shared.
Yeah. The sheer difficulty many veterans have in talking about any of their experiences, even the ones that aren't necessarily traumatic or controversial, just talking about it is hard.
Which really makes the fact that these particular stories were shared, even on Reddit, feel pretty valuable. Like a window opened, just a crack.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so we've really journeyed through these accounts, haven't we?
We have, from the sheer daily grind of danger with those minefields to the immense value of specific knowledge under pressure, that loose bomb situation.
And the role of pure chance and survival, like with the shelling. Then the unexpected ways military life could intersect with top-secret stuff, like the possible SR-71 sighting or that insane nuclear transport incident.
And wrapping up with how the comments reflected the wider, often complex and painful realities, the differing perspectives that still exist around that era.
It really shows how these individual memories, these anecdotes, can light up parts of history that the big narratives sometimes miss.
Absolutely. So for you listening, how do these stories, these very specific granular moments from one person's service, how do they maybe change or deepen how you think about something like the Vietnam War, or just about military life in general?
Yeah, what does it maybe reveal about the kinds of stories people carry around, often silently? the people you might interact with every day.
These anecdotes shared on a forum online, they're kind of a potent reminder. History isn't just dates and battles and policies. It's also made up of countless individual moments. Moments of fear, quick thinking, secrecy, near misses, pure luck, survival.
And so many of those moments stay hidden, right?
Yeah.
Unless someone, somewhere, decides to share them.
Exactly. So the thought to leave you with is this. What other essential pieces of our past, what other crucial perspectives are still locked away in personal memories, just waiting for a chance to be heard?